Hi, I'm Michelle Peters. I am the owner of Mrs. Peters Math. Um, I am doing a live Zoom meeting to answer your questions. Right now, I don't have anybody logged on. So what I think I will do is just go through a lot of the basic information that you may want to know about classes. And then if some people log on and have questions, I will answer them. So first of all, just to give you an idea of what to expect. So I teach my classes through the Canvas platform. And if you are not familiar with the Canvas platform, let me show it to you. So I'm going to come down here and do a screen share. There we go. Just a moment. All right, so I think I have it now. All right, so here is Canvas. This is what it looks like on the student's end. Okay, so I am in the pre-algebra class. What you will see at the top are the most recent announcements. If you scroll, you'll see my logo, and then you'll see links that they can click on. So this is what the inside of the class looks like. We have join today's live class, and then we have a week, and then they can click on the week they're in, and then the specific day. I have a link to graph paper that they can download and print if they need it, and a page for help. So I am going to go to a specific day. Switch that over. Okay, so this right here was from March 14th. So how you get there is, if I go back to the home page, for example, over here, I can click a specific week, but if I want to go back to March 14th, I click on modules. And I explain all this to the students and show them that it's helpful if the parents know too, but you just scroll and you find the week and the specific day you want. So I was on March 14th, so I'm scrolling to here and I'm clicking it. So you have access to every day the whole year long. Now, here is what it looks like when you open up that specific lesson page. We have the class recording. Now, that won't be there initially. When they click on this, what'll happen is usually this might take a week to show up. Now they do have instant access to the recording, and I will show you that momentarily. Okay, but this is a link to my YouTube channel, and that usually takes a week to show up. Okay, notes. There is usually a link to notes that you print. So each day I type up notes for each lesson that we follow along with during the class. So there will be a link here, and then you download and print them. This day, there were no notes. Homework. Complete this assignment by March 20th. The due date is right there. And if you click it, you get the assignment. Now, what I noticed last year was some students just go straight to the link and click the assignment, and then they get confused. But do you see here, there's a whole set of instructions here and explanation. So you'll want to make sure they see that. You can also get to the assignments. Let me show you here. So like here is a link to the assignment for that particular day, but they can go over here and click assignments and see all the assignments that have been assigned. And then at the top, it will tell things that are missing and overdue and things like, well, here it is. Since this is my teacher account, all of my assignments are overdue because I did not do any of the assignments. So it shows me what's overdue, and everything's overdue because the class is over. Here are some past assignments that usually the things here are marked as cannot be turned in late. However, I do not accept late work, and I'll explain that in just a minute. So anyway, you can go over here and you can see a big blue button is the live class, which I can't do in student view. So I'm going to go back. That's how you get to it. But if I go back to home, when they join today's live class, it's the same as linking that to there. It's going to not let me go. But when we have class, you'll see that, and it's not difficult. Okay, so let's see. Let me tell you a little bit more. I'm going to stop my screen share. So let me just give you kind of the lay of the land. So what happens? They print the notes. We have class. During class, I will give them several examples and information. And ideally, they might want to hole punch those notes and keep them in a binder because that will serve as their main reference material as well. In pre-algebra and up, I do provide reference textbooks. These are textbooks that have a lot of good information, tons of extra practice that they can do with the odd answers provided if they need extra practice or want to study for a test. However, I do not teach from the textbook. I don't necessarily follow, the textbook teaches it this way, so I teach it this way. What I have 20 plus years of experience teaching. I started out teaching public school, and then I started homeschooling. And then I quit my public school job and I started working with our co-op that we joined, and I started teaching math there. And now I am teaching math at a second co-op. And then I decided, I would like to teach full-time again, but I really don't want to return to public school. So what I decided to do was start Mrs. Peters Math, where I can teach all day long, like I want to, but I'm focusing on homeschoolers because that has been my most enjoyable experience, was working with homeschoolers. So we get the notes, they do the notes, and then they will do, we have practice, activities, various things. Let me show you again. I want to come back to here. I want to go back to that day. March 14th, I want to show you. In that day, each lesson, after the homework, like here are the main things: the class recording, the notes, and the homework. But then there is all this supplemental. So if a student struggles or needs help here, because there are several, now this one has a lot. I put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 YouTube videos for help. Now this one's on area and perimeter. This one's specifically for triangles. This one's area of a trapezoid. We did a lot of shapes that day. This one's how to work backwards. Like maybe you have the area and you got to find a side. Here's area, perimeter. So we get a little bit different information in each one, maybe a different point of view, maybe it's a different shape. So that's why there's so many. But they just watch the ones that they need. Here I've got 2 games. And so again, these are supplemental. These are not required. I have an activity here they can do. And then I even have extra practice. It says, try this assignment for extra practice or review. See the end of section 9.4 in your book for additional practice. Now, again, I don't teach from the textbook, but it is great reference and extra practice. So if you go to section 9.4 in the book, there's like 50 problems at the end of section 9.4. They could easily do the odds that they feel like are the ones they need help with and check those answers in the back. So there's an extra practice with answers provided. This any game or activity will let you know if you're doing it correctly or not. Games and activities are not required, but they're great supplemental practice. I would even suggest don't force your child to complete the homework before they can do a game. The games might show them what they're doing right or wrong before they do an assignment that they might get wrong. So this is great preliminary practice before they turn something in for a grade. All right, so with that said, let me show you what some of the activities in my class look like. Okay, so one, let's try this one. All right, so one of my favorite ones to do is called pixel art. So here's an example of a pixel art. Right now, all the answers are filled in and you can see the picture. And we can change the zoom here to, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see. If these answers, and this is just a simple addition one, which would be below what your kids would be doing. But just to make this easy right here, if you delete the answers, I want you to see what happens. You can see there that everything, the pixels are disappearing, right? So they're turning white. All right, and if you delete them all, you go, this is how it's going to look when the student first starts. And then you come over here and you enter your answer. And if it's right, pixels will show up. And that's how they get the feedback immediately that it's right. Let's say they entered it incorrectly. Let's say they entered 45. In this particular one, and they're not all exactly the same, but this one just stays white and doesn't do anything. And that's how the student will know, hey, I need to try again. So if this student turns this in with with problems that are missing or incorrect, that is 100% on them. They knew they turned it in with less than 100% accuracy because they know it gives them the feedback. They know what to fix. And if at any point they are stuck and they just can't figure it out, then they can ask for help. So what ideally, I will say we assign this on Monday. They'd practice this after class on Monday or maybe on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday in class, that's when they can ask for help. And they can ask that live, get immediate feedback from me, and maybe other students have the same question. So let's go back and fill this in. Each time they get a right answer, this background is going to match these pixels. So these were some blue pixels, as you can see. I'm going to enter 25 here. And then I got some red versus some dark red. And each time we get it right, it starts to show up. And so then they have the, also, even with the older kids, I found they like this, that when they're done, they've got a completed picture and they get to see what it is. And it's always exciting at the end to see what it was. All right. So another one that I do is just a mystery picture. Now again, this is addition, so that way I can just do it quickly with you. It makes this picture in the middle that says you have cat to be kitten me right now. So there's just some kind of cute picture. Maybe it's not cute, maybe it's funny, maybe it's from a current movie, or maybe it's a pretty sunset or animal, dolphin, something. I've got different pictures. So if we delete an answer, this was a sticker activity. So what happens is the picture is covered in stickers. And each time they get an answer right, the stickers are peeled off to reveal what's underneath. So I'm not going to undo the other side. I'm going to leave those answers, but just to show you, let's put this at 75%. So if we add these, this is 500, 610, 620. So when I enter it, a sticker should go away. And you saw right here, there was a sticker. Let's do that again so you can see. Sticker goes away. Now, if the answer is wrong, I'll put 620 here. In this activity, the answers turn green if they're correct and red if they're incorrect. So if you don't see the stickers go away or not, you can go by the green and red. Okay. So that's another type of activity. And I like these because even if the student doesn't care about the stickers, they don't care about the picture, they do get immediate feedback. They know if they're doing it correctly and they have a chance to fix it. They can work on this until it's correct before they turn it in. So again, if they turn this in and get less than 100%, they knew they were turning it in with a wrong answer, and they do have the opportunity to ask for help. So really, these homework assignments and these practice activities are great for accountability and holding the student responsible, because there's no reason on these types of activities to get less than 100%. All right, let's look at Delta Math. Okay, so Delta Math is another program that I use. Here I have an assignment set up that I'm going to show you. This is what it looks like on the student end. And I really like this one as well because it guides them And so as I'm a student doing this, I get 2 chances to get this right. So if I get it wrong, I do get another chance. And if I don't understand, it says find the ratio of circles to squares in the diagram below. And I'm supposed to write the ratio. Let's say I don't get it. I can come up here and click show example, and it will give me a problem almost exactly like the one I'm doing and work it out for me and explain it. And if I still don't get it, I can click next example and it will show me another one. And then when I'm ready, I can go back to the original problem and attempt it. And let's say I get it wrong. I'm not even going to count these. I'm just going to put in some random numbers so that I get it wrong. It says just write the number of circles and the number of squares. Do not simplify the ratio and make sure the order is correct. So I click OK. And I can try again. Let's get it right this time. 5, 10, 15. All right, so it doesn't let me go on until I have this right. So this is my unsimplified ratio, just how many circles, how many squares. And then now I'm going to reduce, it's going to help me learn how to reduce or simplify my ratio. For every 3 circles, there are how many squares? So I can see 3 circles, 5 squares. Therefore, the simplified ratio of circles to squares. Now watch what happens if I get it wrong. Instead of writing 3 to 5, I'm going to write 5 to 3. I'm going to click submit answer. It says, are you sure you want to submit this? So if I realize, oh, I typed something in wrong, I can click no and go back and fix it before it counts it wrong. But let's say I'm pretty confident. Your answer is not correct. Try to find your mistake. You have 1 attempt remaining. So I get 1 more try. And if I'm confused, another option is to click see solution. It will actually give me the answer, but it's going to count it wrong. So it counts it wrong, but it shows me exactly how to do it. If I had gotten it right, I would still get to see this page when I'm done. It would show me how they work it out. So if they work it out a different way than I do, I can learn from that. All right, so that is Delta Math. It gives you a lot of built-in help. Okay. Let me see what I want to show you next. Well, let me just say that there are a lot of different kinds of activities, lots with feedback like that. Now, they don't all have 100% feedback. Okay, there are some things that I do grade, but I do try to return them in a timely manner. So they're, so that they do get feedback. Now, I do, whenever I grade something, I put in the comments what is wrong and why. And depending on how you read that it could even sound critical, because I'm going to tell you, here's what's wrong. But I do that so you know what you missed and what your mistake is so that you don't make that mistake again. So when I give you that feedback, it is not meant to be a negative thing. It's meant to help you do better next time. So I always do try to be thorough in my feedback to you and give you as much information as possible, not to not to overwhelm you, but to help you and give you as much information or help as I can so that you are able to do it on your own. Assignments are due 2 weeks from the time they are assigned. Now, ideally, here's what I'd like to see. We have class on Monday, you practice, work on things on Tuesday, and you come prepared Wednesday for a new lesson or to ask questions. If a student is always 2 weeks behind, and I have had students do that, they are always 2 weeks behind me, those students are not as successful as those who keep up with the class in a more timely manner. Now, why do I allow the 2 weeks? Well, I'm trying to find that balance between structure and flexibility, right? So we need structure. So we've got to have some due dates. Otherwise, I would have students who would still be on chapter 1 at Christmas break because they don't want to do it, or they don't care, or it's too hard, or whatever the excuses are. And they won't stay up and they won't stay caught up, and they're too confused to move on. And that creates a lot of problems. So we've got to have some structure. And it also works on teaching them responsibility of deadlines. But I want you to have that flexibility of the 2 weeks, because students need time to for things to come up. They get sick. Mom wants to take all the kids to the museum. There's doctor's appointments all day. The internet goes out. Things come up, right? We have that in our adult lives, and we appreciate when people are flexible with us. So I give 2 weeks, and then after that, I don't accept work. So this is why I don't accept late work, because you have that whole 2 weeks to do it. So if you put it off to the last minute and then something comes up, you're kind of out of luck. So don't put it off to the last minute unless you absolutely have to. It also allows time for like say you have a family vacation, a 1 week vacation planned, you still have a week to get caught up afterwards because of that 2 week window. So I recommend staying caught up with the class. Think of it as it's always due the next class, but then you've got the flexibility, say if you need help or something. Okay. So that's the due dates. I am going to look at, some of you have gotten this flyer, and I'm going to look at it just to see what I've forgotten to tell you. These are the classes I'm offering this year: grade 6, 7, pre-algebra, algebra 1, algebra 2, geometry. The times and days are all on my website, and I'll show you my website too. My curriculum, I do not use an outside curriculum. Everything is mine or things that I have paid to use. I teach based on best practices that I have learned, things that I have seen work in the classroom. So this is not a specific method. It's kind of a hodgepodge of things that I have seen work. So I do notes because I feel that students need to learn how to do that, and it also gives them reference to work from when they're practicing. We do some spiral review. It is different than Saxon, because my experience with Saxon is that you get like 4 problems on the new material and then you get 30 review. Well, I do think that review is important, but I think initially you need to practice the new lesson enough to make sure you've got it, then review it. And so I feel like each day's emphasis should be on the new material, practice it till you understand it, and then add it to the review. And so what I do is each day's homework is over that lesson. And then each week I try to provide a spiral review, just a few questions each week that go over things we've previously learned. Okay, so I do try to get spiral review in there, but it's different than say you would have with say Saxon. We meet 3 hours a week, so there is plenty of, so the instruction's thorough and you get plenty of time, as opposed to like videos, which are short. You can't ask questions afterwards. You don't have to buy any textbooks. I do record the classes. So if you are absent, like you're on that 1 week family vacation, or you're sick and you just can't get out of bed to watch it, and or maybe you have a doctor's appointment, you can go back and watch the recording. I've explained about the 2 weeks. I've explained about the activities a little bit. Classes start August 22nd for a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class. The Tuesday, Thursday classes will start August 23rd. Here is all of my information. Here's my phone number. Here's my email. Here's my website. And if you go to Mrs. Peters Math on Facebook, you can find me there also. My website's really easy, mrspetersmath.com. My email is mrspeters@mrspetersmath.com. So that's all pretty easy there. I was going to show you my website, wasn't I? Let me type that in. Here's my website, mrspetersmath.com. If you watch this video, you can see a demonstration of even more activities than I showed you today. If you go to scope and sequence, if you click a class, for example, let's just go to geometry. I'm just going to click one. You can see what I'm going to cover in that course. You can do the drop downs and you'll see exactly what's going to be covered. So that can help you find the right fit. Geometry does require that you've had algebra 1. So you must take Algebra 1 before Geometry. After Algebra 1, you can take Geometry or Algebra 2. That's your choice. And if you have questions about that, contact me. I will help you. If we go back to the home page, you can click Enroll Now. That's how you can sign up for classes. If you scroll to here, this is where you're going to get most of your information. Here you can contact me. Under FAQ, there's a ton of information. I would click that and read through them. If you click class times and schedule, you can see here are the days and times for this year. And here is the calendar, the days off. So you might want to read through that. All right, I think I have kind of covered most everything. This is where I'd love to take your questions, but I still don't have anybody live. Oh, you know what? There is one more activity that I wanted to show you that I see, and those are called boom cards. So let me bring those up. Okay, here we go. These are called boom cards. And boom cards are each they're like set up like slides, like PowerPoint slides, sort of. And each page or each time you look at it, you're looking at what they call a card. Now, here's an example, and I like these. Some of these that I have are directed to where they help the student learn the information as they go, even if I've already taught it, just to reinforce it. So this page or this card reminds them what the standard form of a quadratic equation is, and they can click got it, and it moves on. And then they have to get this right, but they are asked to find A, B, and C in the equation, and they're even color-coded to match. So it'd be really hard to get this wrong, but it does emphasize and make sure they know A, B, and C, because that's important in a lot of the quadratic work that we do. They can click submit. If they get it right, it moves on. If they get it wrong, let's say they get it wrong, it will say you haven't found all the correct answers, and it will make them work for it. So this is actually -4, and this is 0. And so they actually do have to work on it till they get it. So these are boom cards. Boom cards, I will have to set them up an account and put them in the class to be able to work those. But I really like some of these boom cards because they are, they kind of force the student to learn the information. They can't just do some problems and hope they get them right. But it does, like this one really does walk them through it, and it goes clear. This keeps going, and there's like 30 cards, and it goes all the way to where they have to graph it. So I'm going to skip ahead and let you see. So here's where we find the axis of symmetry. It shows them the formula, and they have to look up here. It shows them step 1, find A, B, and C, which we just practiced. And then once they know how to find A, B, and C, the formula makes more sense. And there's even a tip. Think of -B as the opposite of B. So it really walks them through that. So boom cards are another type of assignment activity that we do. Most tests are hand graded by me. Some of them have some feedback immediately. The things with the more immediate feedback are things that they're practicing as they learn, like the assignments and the supplemental, whereas the tests do not always have immediate feedback. But I do give feedback and let them know what they got wrong and why, and I do try to grade those in a timely manner. I can't think of anything else really to talk about. I know you may have questions, so I'll tell you what, I'm going to get this posted on my Facebook page, and just if you still have questions, you can email me, you can call me, or you can post a comment here, and I will try to answer it publicly for everyone. So I'm going to stop there. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to having you in class. Bye-bye.